The scale doesn't work.
Welcome to tonight's live stream. I am going to get started in a minute. I just need to let everybody know that the live stream is getting ready to begin. Okay, before I start tonight's show, I'm going to get into a little bit of the usual perfunctory. Now, I'm going to give a progress report on the upcoming comic John Haynes at Death's Door. And I just talked to Antonio Balderi today. And after he's completed this 15th fantastic page, which I'm thinking about sharing with everyone because this page is so powerful. This book is coming along beautifully. We are getting closer and closer to the halfway point on the John Haynes at Death's Door comic, and this book is just looking absolutely fantastic, and I just cannot wait to share it with all of you when I launch the Kickstarter soon. So we are at almost at the 50% of the comics art being complete, and then I have to go and find a letterer to letter all of the pages. So the progress is moving forward on the John Haynes at Death's Door comic, and I'm ecstatic about this project, and I just can't wait to share it with you. Now, over the course of this week, I have been working on doing some proofreading of the upcoming SJS Direct Fall 2021 books, and I've got my proof copies of Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace and E-Steam Cancel Vacation in the mail. So I have already done the proofreading on Cancel Vacation, and this book is practically ready to go as related to being ready for sale. So this book is ready to go. And right now I'm checking over Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace, but everything is looking pretty good on this book. And if you want to get your own paperback copy, you can get your own paperback copy right now of Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace. And I will leave a link to that book in the chat for everybody right now as related to picking up your copy of Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace. And you can pre-order the Kindle version right now by clicking the link, but the paperback is available and it's looking very clean. So you can get your copy of Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace right now, and you can also pre-order E-Steam Cancel Vacation, which is my commentary on the whole thing, the whole concept of cancel culture. So you can get Cancel Vacation on Amazon right now, and you can get it right now, pre-order it on Kindle. You can get Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace. So these are the two books. Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace will be available officially on October, and E-Steam Cancel Vacation will be available in November officially. But you can pre-order both books on Kindle, and you can get Stop Simpin' in Cyberspace in paperback. So that's the perfunctory for tonight's live stream, and I'm going to get into tonight's topic. Now, tonight's topic is why nice guys finish last. Now, most people have a saying about nice guys finishing last, but they think that the nice guy is finishing last because he's such a good guy and he does the right thing. But in actuality, the nice guy finishes last because he makes a lot of major mistakes. And the first mistake that your nice guy makes is being extremely foolish. Now, Ringo in a live stream a while back talked about the nice guy, and the original definition of nice was to define foolish. So, your nice guy, what makes him start to finish last is the fact that he is a very foolish individual. And because he is quite foolish as related to the way he approaches life, this is why he winds up losing in the end of everything. Because your nice guy, again, he just does not have good critical thinking skills. And oftentimes he tries to make people happy, but he does not focus on himself. Now, your nice guy, in addition to just being completely foolish, the core reason why he finishes last is because he actually puts others first. And because your nice guy puts others first, this makes it where his goals never become a priority in life. And because his goals don't become a priority in life, this is why he winds up finishing last, because he puts the needs of others before himself. And when he puts the needs of others before himself, that makes it where he's not focusing on his goals. And because he's not focusing on his goals, he never really gets to accomplish the things that he wants to do. So your nice guy is very foolish because he puts others before himself, because no smart man is going to put others before himself. No, he's going to put himself first. And the reason why he's putting himself first is because he knows that if he wants to accomplish something, he needs to put himself first. And any responsible man wants to go out here and put himself first, because if you don't put yourself first, then nobody else is going to make you a priority. Now, your nice guy thinks that by putting others first, they will somehow and some way see him out here helping them, and eventually they will help him. This is the covert contract that your nice guy goes out here and tries to make with other people. Unfortunately, most of those people never heard him say anything. And that is one of the other big problems with your nice guy that makes him finish last, is he never tells other people about his goals. No, instead, what he does is he hopes people will assume that he wants their help, and they will come out here and help him accomplish his goals. And again, this is the nice guy putting himself towards the back as related to being a priority. And when you make yourself number two, nobody wants to make you number one. If you don't go out here and let people know exactly what you want, they are not going to try to figure it out and try to help you out. That is another reason why your nice guy is extremely foolish, is because he's expecting others to try to figure him out and try to figure out what he wants. And nobody in this world is going to try to figure out a guy and what he wants. If he does not exactly say and specify exactly what he wants, he's going to get absolutely nothing at the end of the day. And this is why your nice guy never really goes out here and achieves any sort of success, because he never comes out and expressly tells people exactly what he wants to do. He never goes out here and sets a clear goal, and he never goes out here and directly says exactly what he's trying to accomplish to others. Because in order to go out here and get support from other people to accomplish a goal, A guy has to come out here and say exactly what he wants, and then as after he says what he wants, he has to put effort in going for what he wants. But because your nice guy is so passive and unassuming, what he does is he lays in the back and he expects others to try to figure out what he wants, and then he tries to hope that others will figure out what he wants and try to help him get what he wants. But that's not how the world works for men out here, because a man has to know exactly what he wants. He has to say exactly what he wants, and then he has to put effort into it. And in the world of real life, a person has to go out here and just again let people know what they're trying to do, and not try to hope that people will figure you out and anticipate your needs. This is where the nice guy winds up having everything fall apart, because again, he's expecting others to do for him, but he's not making any effort to go out here and do for self. Because if you go out here and you're expecting others to do for you, then you are not going to get exactly what you want. And this is where the nice guy gets frustrated, because he's expecting people to go out here and give him what he thinks he wants, but because he never said what he wanted and never expressly told people what he wanted, this is why he never gets what he wants, and he winds up extremely disappointed, because people are not mind readers. No, people are very direct, and if you don't say exactly what you want and what you're looking for, they don't know, but the nice guy expects other people to know what he wants, but that whole concept is in his head. Now, your nice guy, again, he's trying to finish first, but he doesn't put himself first. And again, you can't expect to be first if you don't put yourself first. And men who put themselves first, again, when they're out here, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to set goals for themselves, and after they set goals, they are going to start creating a plan of action towards achieving that goal. For example, when I write a book like a Stop Simping in Cyberspace, I set a goal for myself to complete a book. And what I try to do is I start to set a schedule for getting the book completed. So usually what I try to do when I'm writing a book is I write one chapter a day if I can, and I start working towards achieving that goal until I get to the finish line. Now, your nice guy, instead of setting a goal and working consistently through it to get towards that goal, what he does is he'll say he wants to do something, but then he never puts any effort towards finishing anything. And that is another trait of your nice guy, to why he always finishes last, because in addition to putting other people first, he never goes out here and sets a schedule and series of goals towards meet and benchmarks towards achieving what he wants to achieve. Because most of your nice guys, yes, they're very friendly and very helpful to others, but they aren't very helpful to themselves. Now, your nice guy oftentimes doesn't feel like he deserves to get any sort of stuff for himself. And because he's looking to please others, he thinks that making other people happy will make him happy. And that's not the case at all when it comes down to people. No, other people are not responsible for your happiness. And if you go out here thinking other people are responsible for your happiness, you are going to be miserable. But your nice guy, he will invest in the meeting the needs of others and trying to please others, and not make any efforts towards pleasing himself. So he winds up going out here thinking, oh, I'll make these other people happy, and that'll make me happy indirectly, but he won't find any sort of happiness in and of himself. And Gabriel makes a good point. He says, yes, they don't have any real goals. And yeah, your nice guy just does not have real goals. You ask him what he wants to do, and he won't tell you directly. No, he'll just talk around the subject, but he'll never tell you directly what his goal that he wants to accomplish. Any other man, you'll go out here and you ask him what his goal is, and he'll say, I want to start a business in like automotive repair, or he'll say, I want to go out here and complete this project. And he'll have goals and he'll set goals and meet those goals. Now, another trait of a nice guy is, as related to the covert contract, is he's always looking to try to get his needs met in a covert way. So your nice guy doesn't go out here and just exactly say what he wants. No, he looks to try to go out here and get his needs met by doing other things for other people. So what he'll do is go out here and set up going out here and doing these good deeds and then hope to get rewarded for doing the good deeds. And he hopes that the person, after they see all of the good stuff that he's done, what he'll get is some sort of reward at the end of the day. But that's not how a healthy relationship works. People don't give to get. No, they give because they want to give. But the nice guy is always looking to go out here and give to get, because this is how he goes out here and he believes the only way he can get his needs met. But this is not the way a healthy man goes out here and gets his needs met. No, he does not try to hope, wish, and pray that people will figure out that he wants something. No, he goes out here and says exactly what he wants, and he goes out here and goes to get what he wants. But your nice guy, he thinks he's being nice to other people, but oftentimes he's a very angry person because he's not getting exactly what he wants, and he's frustrated because he's not achieving the goals that he wants out of life. So you'll have a nice guy out here and he'll have this smile on his face, but he'll oftentimes be a very sad and somber individual on the inside. And he's very sad and somber and angry because he's not getting what he wants, and he's not getting what he wants again because he doesn't say exactly what he wants. Now, your nice guy oftentimes has not only problems as related to his personal life, he also has a lot of problems as related to his professional life. And again, your nice guy, when he's in the workplace, he's another guy who never says what he wants and he never goes for what he wants because he's just scared of failure. And that's another trait that makes your nice guy always finish last, is his complete fear of failure. Because your nice guy, one of the reasons why he never puts himself first is because he's afraid of failing. And he's afraid of failing because he doesn't understand the processes of life. And because he doesn't understand the processes of life, what he thinks is that failure is a bad thing. However, failure is not a bad thing. Failure just shows you that things didn't work out for a reason. And any critical thinking guy, he's going to say, okay, just because we failed, what doesn't mean that it's over. But with the nice guy, when he fails, he just throws up his hands and gives up. So instead of him taking a minute to really critically think and assess where he went wrong, he starts acting on feelings and just gives up altogether. So instead of him going out here and looking to take that temporary setback and move forward, he winds up not being able to move forward at all because he just gives up. And that giving up is one of the reasons why he never really achieves any sort of success, because while other men, when they wind up failing, they just take a minute and they sit back and they say, look, I have to assess where I went wrong. I have to assess what I did wrong, and I have to look at these mistakes that I've made, and because making mistakes isn't bad, and then work towards moving forward. But the nice guy, he's always trying to be perfect, and he's always trying to make everything fit into everything. And that's the whole thing about life they don't understand. Life isn't perfect. People do make mistakes, and making mistakes is not a bad thing. And making mistakes is where we learn the most and how we grow the most. But the nice guy doesn't want to make mistakes. No, he wants everything to be absolutely perfect. And it's that quest for perfection that makes him a loser at the end of the day, because everybody else is like, okay, you failed, you made a mistake, you dust yourself off and try again. And these guys don't want to go out here and dust themselves off, because a lot of times, because they're in their feelings, they're embarrassed about failing. But you can't get embarrassed about failing, because failure is a part of life. Now, the other part of this is that these guys are afraid of risk, but they want big rewards. And again, the nice guy finishes last because he does not like to take risks, but the only way to get rewarded for accomplishing anything is to and go out here and take the risk. I mean, yes, a guy who takes risks winds up losing sometimes, but when they go out here, and they're always going to get a reward. This is a mistake the nice guy makes, is thinking that making that when things fail, a guy doesn't have a reward, but he does get a reward. You get a reward because you have gone out here and made an effort for yourself. You get a reward in accomplishing a goal, and you get a reward because you had the courage to go out here, and even if you lose, you still win, because at the end of the day, you still learn something. But the nice guy is too afraid to go try anything, because he wants everything guaranteed and he wants to be perfect. And that's, again, a mistake that he makes that leads to him going nowhere, because he's always playing it safe. And when you play it safe, you are guaranteed to lose every time, because guys who play it too safe never take any risks. And these are the guys who wind up getting no rewards. Now, your nice guy, he's too afraid to go out here and take those risks. And that's why he gets frustrated when other people go out here and accomplish things in life, because he's mad that they're doing the things that he wants to do. But the whole thing that's holding him back from being able to go ahead is because he's too afraid to go out here and do what needs to be done. Now, your nice guy, again, he finishes last. And again, he finishes last because he is foolish. He never puts himself first. And he's just too afraid to go out here and accomplish whatever he wants to accomplish. And he's too afraid to set goals. And he's too afraid to go out here and set any sort of criteria for goals. And again, his core foundation as related to life is fear. Now, as he's afraid of everybody, that's the core reason why he wants to go out here and be these guys who want to be people pleasers, because everything about him is all rooted in fear. The reason why he wants to please people is because he's afraid of offending them. But in the real world, people will get offended no matter what you do. So that's why a person out here has to be themselves, because a person has to understand that some people out here, there is no pleasing them. So you may as well just be who you are and just say that I'm just going to let the chips fall. because there are some people you're never going to please, but the nice guy, he's always looking to make others happy, and not only, adds to his misery. Now, this whole nice guy lifestyle, it hinders a lot of a man's growth. I have gas sometimes, but it hinders a man's growth as related to his personal life and his career, and it also hinders his life as related to social situations with women. Now, your nice guy, he oftentimes winds up finishing last in the dating scene. And the reason why he finishes last in the dating scene is because your nice guy is somebody who really just he's too scared to go out here and put himself out there. And the reason why he's so scared is because he fears conflict. Now, your nice guy, one of the things that keeps him from growing is the fact that he is afraid of conflict, but conflict is a part of life. And if you want to accomplish anything constructive in life, you have to go out here and deal with conflict. So, this is something I talk about in my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace. And I also talk about it in Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance. So, the nice guy, he's afraid of conflict. And that's one of the reasons why he goes nowhere. You can get that book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com. And you can get the original Stop Simping on Amazon as well. And both of those books, they will help you break the nice guy paradigm, because a simp is basically a nice guy. And again, it's he's just so unassuming, he's so afraid to deal with conflict. And the reason why he's afraid of dealing with conflict is because he's afraid of a woman saying no. Now, your nice guy, he's so afraid of saying no that he doesn't have the courage to even go out and let his intentions be known. And because he's all afraid of not having his intentions be known, what he does is he never even steps up to play on the playing field. Now, there are guys out here who, even though they lose, they don't go anywhere, but at least they go out here and step up to the plate. And that's what people can respect about these guys. But your nice guy, nobody respects him because he's too afraid to step up. And because he's too afraid to step up, this is why people just don't see him as somebody they respect or regard, because he doesn't value himself enough to go out here and take that L. No, he's just so afraid of failing and losing that he doesn't even get up and go to the table. And that's the reason why people just don't respect him at all, because he's sitting there and hoping somebody will figure it out and he can come from the back. But the only way for him to achieve anything with women, especially, is he's got to go out here and come out from the front. And he's got to let his intentions be known. Thank you, Ace Thunder, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And if you want to donate to the super chat, you can do so as well. And if you want to donate to the Cash App, that is also appreciated, because the Cash App is 100% goes to me and helps me be able to produce comics and other books like Stop Simping in Cyberspace. So this guy, he's so afraid he doesn't even come to the table, and he sits there quietly hoping that people again will figure him out. And that's just not how it works in the world of dating and relationships. What's going on, gboot2786? Glad to see you here. gboot2786 and I do a live stream every Tuesday or Thursday, depending on what our schedule is. We were trying to go for Thursdays, and you can catch me on gboot2786's live stream by clicking the link and subbing to his channel. So you can sub to his channel and check me out there. I talk about other topics, but usually on here I do men's issues because a lot of guys do need this kind of help. And the nice guy is the foundation of the simp. So I really wanted to talk about why your nice guy finishes last, because these guys, they wonder why they're going nowhere. But the reason why they're going nowhere is because they, again, they are foolish. They put themselves last, and they just, again, go out here expecting others to figure things out for them. And they never go exactly for what they want because they're afraid of risk, they're afraid of failure, and they're afraid of rejection. So that's why your nice guy winds up finishing last, because they never really set goals for where they want to go in life, and because they're expecting others to go out here and do for them, they never go out here and do for themselves. And again, in the world of dating and relationships, these guys wind up failing miserably because you have to go out here and be direct. And the same thing happens in their careers as well. Your nice guy is too afraid to go out here and confront people and demand what he wants. No, he just tries to take what people give him. And because he tries to take what people give him, he winds up never getting exactly what he wants. And again, like Gabriel's pointing out, your nice guys, they wind up in dead end jobs because they're too afraid to go out here and go for the job that they want. They just want everything to be safe and secure, but that's just not how life works, because only those who, again, go for what they want get what they want. The people who are too scared to go for anything, they wind up with absolutely nothing at the end of the day. I'm glad to see you here, Derek, Neostar, See Truth, The Revelator. I mean, glad to see you all here, Bronx Project. I'm going to give everybody a shout out if I can. Sorry, Rock Fresh. Everybody's here. So I'm going to take a minute and give everybody a shout out before I come on and continue. But your nice guy, he gets really frustrated that he can't get anywhere with the woman he wants. But the whole thing is he never tells her his intentions. He's expecting to just sit there passively, hoping she'll figure out that he likes her. But that's just not how things work as related to relationships and dating. Thank you, See Truth, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. He says, there's a segment of these guys that have been raised by single mothers. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't even realize it. And yes, a lot of nice guys have been raised by single moms, and they've been raised to be the good boy who never really gets into trouble, is just really passive in the background, and they're not taught about how things work for men. They go out here thinking that, oh, I'll be this good guy who tries to please women like his mother, but the whole thing is his relationship with his mother is different from the women in the real world, and it's different in the job market as well. And these guys are trying to be like mom, trying to find a place where they can have a codependent relationship like their mothers, but they don't understand that the world works with an interdependent relationship, and people are expecting you to take responsibility for yourself. And that's another issue that the nice guy has, is that he never really takes responsibility for himself in life. No, he's too scared to take that responsibility because, again, he's afraid of having to take ownership for his failures. Now, any other man has to go out here and accept that things aren't working. They have to accept that there was a failure or a mistake. But because these guys are so afraid of taking responsibility for something, they'd rather just duck out and say that they're not going to take responsibility for anything. And that's why they go nowhere. They sit there, and then after others go out here and they go out here and take those risks and get those rewards, this is where these guys wind up sitting around with their grill cooking, simmering and boiling in anger. And the reason why they simmer and boil in anger is that they're not angry at the other guy for going for what he wanted. They're angry at themselves because they're too scared to go for what they want. And because they're too scared to go for what they want, they sit there angry at other people. But the only person they have that really angry at is themselves because they don't have the courage to go for what they want. And that's just not how it works in the real world. You have to go for what you want. And again, these guys, they sit around, whether it be with their career or a woman, sitting there wondering why they can't get what they want. And they sit there having pity parties talking about, oh, I can't get the job that I want. I can't get the woman that I want. But they never really say exactly what they want. And then they never let other people know this is what I want to do. And in the case of women, they never let the woman know that they have any sort of interest. They just approach people in a very passive manner, and that's another trait that makes the nice guy finish last is how passive he is, because life is something that is really active, and you have to be actively involved if you want to go out here and do things in life. You cannot be sitting there passively in the background and hoping others will eventually see what you have to offer. No, you have to actually go out and show people what you can do. And you have to actually go out here and be actively doing it. I mean, in order for when I started out, I was submitting books to publishers and I realized I was going nowhere. That's when I started going out here and writing my own books on the SJS Direct imprint because I said that if I really value my talent, I'm going to go out here and publish my own books and on my own imprint, and I'm going to share them with readers because I can't go out here to these trade publishers and keep begging them for approval. If I value myself, I'm going to go out here and produce my own work and then share it with readers myself. So you have to have courage to go out here and go for what you want. But your nice guy, he doesn't go for what he wants. And he doesn't want to go for what he wants because he's, again, afraid of conflict. He's afraid of rejection. And he's afraid of the word no, not understanding the word no is not a bad thing. No, the word no just means that that person isn't interested. And if that person isn't interested, then you just have to move on. And that's another problem with your nice guy that keeps him from finishing anything is he just can't take rejection. And because he cannot take rejection, what he does is he tries to be persistent in the wrong way. And this is another mistake that keeps the nice guy from finishing last is he doesn't understand that persistence pays off, but you don't continue to be persistent with the same person over and over. Now, your nice guy, what he'll do is try to convince somebody of his value by continuing to go after them. But what he doesn't understand is that by continuing to try to convince others of his value, what he's doing is he's lowering his value overall. And the thing that's making him lower his value is the fact that he does not value himself and he continues to seek validation and approval from those who reject him. And because he sits there continuing to seek validation and approval from those who have already rejected him, he's showing that he just does not see his own worth. Now, a regular guy out here, when a woman says no or a company says no, he just charges those people to the game and he keeps it moving because he understands his value as a man. But a nice guy does not understand his value as a man. So he keeps trying to go out here thinking doing more of the same will eventually convince somebody to see his value. But what we call this is insanity, because the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result, because only an insane person continues to try to seek out the approval of others who have already shown that they do not value you. And people who, again, value themselves, they're not going to try to stay around those who have no interest in them, because they understand that they have value. And more importantly, they understand that their time is precious. Now, your nice guy, another reason why he finishes last is the fact that he does not understand the whole overall concept of time. Now, your nice guy, he thinks he has all the time in the world, but he doesn't understand time is a finite resource. And once you lose time, you can't get it back. And unfortunately, your nice guy, he spends so much time wasting it trying to convince others of his value that he winds up losing everything at the end of the day, because he finishes last because he just doesn't understand that concept of time, and he throws away many of his prime years doing things like trying to seek the so-called happiness of others, or he goes out here and he wastes years of his life trying to chase some female, hoping that she'll see his value. And that's one of the other big major mistakes that your nice guy makes, is thinking that, oh, if he's out here and he continues to show how good he is through his good deeds, eventually people will see how good a man he is, and eventually they'll be convinced that he's a valuable person. And again, that is a mistake, because you're giving your power to somebody else. And when you give your power to somebody else, all that does is make it where they see can choose whether you are valuable or not. And no man out here is going to go out here and let somebody else dictate their value. No, if a man has self esteem and self worth, no, he's the one who is going to just understand his value. He's the one who's going to understand his worth, and he's not going to sell himself short, and he's not going to waste his precious time with those who do not value him. No, he's going to charge those to the game and again keep it moving. Now, because your nice guy does not value himself, this is why your nice guy winds up getting targeted by your predatory people. And I say predatory people because it is not just predatory women who take advantage of the nice guy. No, there are predatory men who go after the nice guy. And again, they see this man who, again, is puts himself last and comes from a position of weakness. And because they see him coming from that position of weakness, they see him as a tool they can use to advance themselves at his expense. And because they did see this nice guy as somebody they can use to advance themselves at their expense, they go out here and they use the nice guy as a pawn, because again, they know that the nice guy is foolish. They know that the nice guy is naive, and they know that the nice guy is too passive to confront them or hold them accountable. And because they know that the nice guy is not going to have any conflict, they know that they can get over on the nice guy, because the nice guy is not going to go out here and stand up for himself. So your nice guy, that's another reason why he finishes last, is he attracts a lot of predators to him, and he does that due to the beta energy he radiates. He also does it due to the unassuming body language he has, and he also does it because he's just looking to make others happy. And again, he's out here looking to try to please those who aren't really interested in him. And the only thing he's interested in is the validation and approval of others. But that makes him, again, a target, because what these people do is they pay him attention, string him along, gas his head up, and then take him for a ride. And then after they've taken him for a ride and gotten what they want out of him, they then discard him like old garbage on the side of the road. And this is where your nice guy goes from being nice to becoming filled with frustration and anger because he thought he could trust these kinds of people, but he didn't understand how to read people. That's another trait that the nice guy doesn't understand as related to him being foolish. He doesn't really know how to read people. He does not know how to look at nonverbal cues or body language or facial expressions. And he doesn't really go out here and act assertively enough. So this is what makes him a target for predators. And the also other thing that makes your nice guy again finish last, that makes him a target for predators, is the fact that your nice guy is very greedy. Now, a lot of these nice guys, they are extremely greedy and they always are trying to get something for nothing. That's another trait that the nice guy has, is he's oftentimes looking to get something for nothing. And this is how he gets targeted by predators looking to take advantage of him, because he's always looking for this easy deal from the back and not looking to go straight forward because he's too afraid, again, of failure and rejection. So he's always looking to come in sideways. And because he's looking to come in sideways, he'll go along with a dirty deal. And again, he's the one who gets burnt because the predators already know how the deal is going to end because they see the nice guy as a mark. And because, again, your nice guy is looking for a deal, that's why he's always in places where there are a lot of predators, whether it be strip joints, whether it be seedy places. That's where you're going to find your nice guy. But your nice guy, he'll sit there and talk about how other guys are bad, but he's oftentimes trying to go in these places looking for a deal. But at the end of the day, he's the one with a raw deal because of his dishonesty. And that's another trait why your nice guy finishes last, because he's extremely dishonest. Now, your nice guy, on the surface, he'll make it look like he's a good man. He'll make it look like he's so kind and friendly, but he's an extremely dishonest individual. And the person he tells the most lies to is to himself. Now, the nice guy, he wants to go out here and again put on this facade like he's a better man than other people, like he's so moral and upstanding. But a lot of times, your nice guy is really, really sinister behind that nice facade. And because he's really sinister behind that facade, that's where your nice guy, he tries to hide these things. Now, I talk about this in depth in my book, The Man Crisis, as related to the beta male and the secret world, because your nice guy is notorious for having a secret life behind the whole facade that he has. And again, this is another reason why he finishes last, is because he's so dishonest and he's always trying to do things under the table. And he'll try to, again, sit there and make it look like, oh, he's a good man on the outside. But in actuality, he's the guy looking to get the dirty deal. He's the guy looking to get in from the side door. And that's all, again, because he's afraid of failure. But the great irony is, it is all of his dirty dealing that leads to him winding up failing, because he's looking to come in sideways and he's looking to go through the back door, and he's hoping that people won't see him going through the back door. And he'll sit there and try to talk about, oh, how the jerks always get all of whatever they want. But the reason why he doesn't get what he wants is, again, he's too afraid to go out there directly and go get it. No, he wants to go out and try to slip through the back door and hope that others will give him what he wants. But the whole thing is, slipping through the back door with these predators ensures that he will never get what he wants, because what these people do is they see that they can just string him along, take him for what he can get, and then leave him with absolutely nothing. And this is why, again, your nice guy winds up finishing last. And when he finishes, he never finishes with any sort of success, because they have that old saying again, the nice guy finishes last, but the way he finishes ensures he never finishes with any sort of real success. No, your nice guy, he finishes with very mediocre performance, and he finishes never really accomplishing anything of any sort of value. No, your nice guy, he winds up never really getting what he wants out of life. And like Gabriel has pointed out, yes, they just are frustrated and bitter. And because they don't, again, they don't, like he said, don't do it directly. They just go, they're filled with bitterness, because what they're really bitter about is the fact that they never had the confidence to just go out here and do what they wanted to do. No, they're really frustrated because they never had that courage to go out here and conquer and climb the mountains, or face the obstacles and overcome them. So they are very angry, even though they'll go out here and do things like they'll get a promotion at a job or they'll get something. They'll still be angry, and they're angry because they didn't go for what they wanted. Again, all their anger is about them never having that confidence to say, look, I'm just going to go out here. And even if I take an L, I'm still out here. No, these guys, they're so busy trying to be sneaky, go under the table, and they still don't get really what they want. And again, even if they get something, they don't get that satisfaction of accomplishing a goal, because everything with them is done on the covert level, on the sneaky level, and them doing a lot of foul stuff. Because a lot of these guys, again, they always got to do underhanded stuff in order to get anything in life, whether it's a job, promotion at a job. They'll stab guys in the back. There's another thing the nice guys do, is they stab guys in the back. And your nice guy will go out here and he will do things to get women by doing things like going after his best friend's girl, which is called dirty macking, or he'll go under the table telling the woman about, oh, how bad this guy is. Everything he does is about being sneaky and dirty. And that's one of the reasons why he winds up so deeply disappointed if he ever gets anything, because he does so much dirt to get things, and he never gets any satisfaction because it just never really went out here and did things where he was direct. No, he does everything sneaky and under the table, and that leaves him extremely dissatisfied. And because he's dissatisfied, this is why he'll be miserable even if he gets success, because his whole way of getting success is always unethical. And your nice guy, again, he may finish, but he never finishes in a way that is satisfying, because he always had to go do things dirty. He always had to do things under the table, and he's always looking over his shoulder. And when he looks over his shoulder, he's worried about one of those predatory people he was getting in league with eventually spilling the beans as related to the dirt he has done. So your nice guy, he'll sit there, he'll do a lot of dirt under the table, but he's always looking over his shoulder, wondering if somebody's going to rat him out, if somebody's going to snitch on him. And that's all due to his doing, because he's just, again, extremely dishonest. And he just, again, never wants to come up front and be honest about anything that he's doing. And because he doesn't want to come up front and be honest about anything that he's doing, this is a reason why he never really finishes with any sort of serious success, and he never really gets any respect. Now, that's another part of why your nice guy finishes last, is because he just is not somebody anybody respects. And most people don't respect the nice guy, because they know that he's not really nice. Now, there's a difference between a kind person and a nice guy. A kind person does things because of the kindness of their heart with no strings attached. But the nice guy, he's always doing things with strings attached, and he's always doing things in the hopes of getting somebody to approve of him, or in the hopes of getting some sort of deal under the table where he hopes and assumes people will figure out what he wants. And that's why people don't respect him, because he does not come across as somebody who is respectable. Now, a man who is respectable, again, he is honest, he is straightforward, and he just lets people know his intentions from minute one. And he is not afraid to let people know those intentions from minute one. Whether the person disagrees with them or not, they let them know exactly what they want. But the nice guy, he can't get respect because he just does not, he's not honest, he's not clear, and more importantly, he just does not present himself in a respectable manner, and he does not, again, set boundaries with people. So this is another reason why people don't respect the nice guy, because he just doesn't set boundaries with people, and he's a complete pushover that people can walk all over. I mean, anybody can just get this nice guy to say yes to them for anything. And that's another reason why he finishes last, is he's always looking to say yes to everything and never sets any sort of boundaries for himself. Now, your nice guy, he's thinking that this is going to get him favor and approval with others, but the way you get respect from other people is setting boundaries, and part of setting boundaries is saying no. But your nice guy, he's too afraid to say no, because he's afraid that if somebody says no to him, if he says no to somebody, that will lead to them not liking him, not understanding that like and respect are two different things, and like is a feeling, but respect is an intangible, and respect is something that somebody earns by you respecting them. And this is something the nice guy doesn't understand, because he's looking to be liked, and he's looking to for the feeling of like. But respect is a more important intangible, because when people respect people, they respect their boundaries, they respect them as a person because they value them, and they respect them because of their character. And that is something that the nice guy doesn't understand, that leads to him finishing last, because he's looking to be liked by people who out here, but he's not looking for respect. He's looking for the likes. And again, the predatory people will like him for a minute and they'll play to his feelings, but people who respect you, they are going to come straight forward from minute one, and they're going to respect you because they value you as a person. And because they value you as a person, they are going to treat you the way you want to be treated. And they're going to treat you that way because you have set boundaries for them, and they're going to respect those boundaries. But the nice guy, he's looking to be liked so much that he doesn't set boundaries, and that allows people to push him all the way to the wall, and that allows them to continue to get away with taking advantage of him, because he never sets hard boundaries for himself. And because he does not set hard boundaries for himself, what happens is people don't respect him. And because people don't respect him, they have no interest in helping him achieve any sort of goal, but he never tells anybody what his goals are. And that's, again, another reason why people just use him and leave him at the end of the road, because he never really sets an end for what he wants to accomplish, and he never sets an end game for anything that he wants to do. And because he never sets an end game for what he wants to do, this is why when your nice guy finally finishes decades later, he never has anything tangible to say that he's accomplished, because he's constantly looking to please other people. He's constantly setting himself back, and he's constantly putting his whole life on hold for others, and never really going for what he wants, because he's going for what somebody else wants. But you can't be like that. You have to go out here and go for what you want. You have to be clear about what you want, and you can't be afraid of failure. You can't be afraid of people saying no, and you can't be afraid of things not working out. You just have to continue to, again, persevere. And that's another thing the nice guy does, is he never perseveres, and that's why he always finishes last, because he just doesn't have that discipline or that resolve to keep pushing. No, one setback and he falls apart and he just gives up. But you can't give up whenever you run into a setback. No, you have to find a way to regroup. And that's another, again, leads to that whole failure as related to approaches, is that he'll have one approach and it'll fail, and he'll keep trying to do the same thing over and over. But that, again, is the definition of insanity. And that's another reason why a nice guy never finishes anything. It's that he always thinks that if this one approach doesn't work, everything doesn't work at all. But sometimes you have to just go in a different direction, and going in a different direction can completely change things. But he doesn't want to go in a different direction because he's afraid of failure, and he's afraid of losing what he has. And that's another reason why nice guys finish last, is that they hold on to things too much. Now, whenever a nice guy does get something in his hands, he holds on to it for dear life. But when you hold on to things for dear life, it winds up slipping out of your hands. And that's one of the reasons why they never really, again, finish something, because they're so busy holding on to what they've got. They don't understand, in order to make any sort of gains and growth, you have to let things go. And you can't feel bad about letting things go. And a nice guy, that's one of the other reasons why he never really finishes success, is because he's so busy holding on to old hurts or old failures, that he never really says, hey, this just happens, and I just need to move on. And some of these guys, they will try to hold, if they're in a relationship, they'll try to hold on to a toxic female because they're afraid that they won't find somebody else. For example, like your Will Smith, or your who's holding on to Jada Pinkett because he's afraid that he won't find somebody else. And again, that's him having low self-worth and selling himself short, because he's afraid that if he won't find somebody else. But any other guy, if they see it's not working, they're going to let that person go and move on. But the nice guy, he won't let people go, and he'll let toxic people stay in his life for years. And he'll let those people stay in his life for years because he's afraid of going in a different direction. It's like Gabriel made the point. He said they can't go in a different direction because they're too caught up in something they seemingly care about. And yeah, they do get too caught up in something that they care about too much. And the whole thing is they hold on to things with their feelings. But any healthy man is going to say, look, I've got to let this person go. I've got to let this job go. This is not working for me. And if it's not working for me, then I need to let this go. And letting something go is not a bad thing, because you're letting something go so you can go out here and get something else. And you want to get something else because you're tired of holding on to something that is not helping you grow. I mean, these guys will hold on to relationships that don't work, with women who don't want to be there. They'll hold on to jobs that aren't working out for them, that are not helping them achieve their goals. And they'll sit there and complain, oh, I'm not going anywhere in life. But the person not going anywhere in life is you. And they want to go out here and they want things to work as related to try to work it out. But there are some situations that are untenable. And sometimes you just have to make a sacrifice and let that situation go, because that environment is toxic. When you're a nice guy, he's too afraid to acknowledge the toxicity of an environment, and then he tries to hold on to toxic people in toxic situations. And that's not what healthy people do. They understand, look, something's not working. I got to let it go. And it may be a little pain here, but the nice guy, he would rather stay in misery in a situation that doesn't work because he's afraid of going and venturing out than letting everything go and then getting something better for himself. So he's a guy who thinks that, oh, I'll be able to stick. I can stick with it. I'll hang in there. It's like there's no hanging in there. In certain situations, you just have to walk away, and there are certain people you have to walk away from because they don't want anything and they just want to leave you miserable. So this is something many of your nice guys don't get, and they'll stay again in bad marriages. They'll stay in bad jobs. They'll even stay in bad schools. They're codependent. They have a codependent mindset. And again, this is another reason why they finish last is that they have this codependency. And these guys give power to others. And when they have the relationships with people, they give other people power over them. And that's not something healthy people do. No, healthy people say, look, I'm not giving you power over me. No, I'm the one with the power, and I'm the one who's going to make the choices at the end of the day of whether I want to be someplace or not. And I'm the one who's going to go out here, and I'm here for me because I'm putting myself first. I'm putting my goals first, and I'm putting what I want to accomplish first. I'm not looking to try to make you happy. No, I'm here to do God's work and make myself happy. And if this situation is not working to my standard, I'm not going to sit here and stay miserable at all. And Rocket Man, Rocky Matrix makes a good point. This is another nice guy trait. They go along to get along. And again, going along to get along is never going to get you what you want. When you have guys out here, again, nice guys, they always believe in this concept of I'll go along to get along. And again, that's all part of that whole covert contract that nice guys have. They believe if they go along to get along, eventually people will give them what they want. But when you go along to get along, you are showing people you are no one they need to respect because the guy who goes along to get along, he's thinking, oh, eventually they'll give me what I want. But no, the guy who goes along to get along winds up getting nothing at the end of the day, but garbage because he's sitting there hoping, wishing, and praying that somebody will eventually figure out what he wants. But when you go along with somebody else to get along, they get what they want and you get a big bag of nothing. And again, this is why your nice guy winds up finishing last and he winds up finishing frustrated because he thinks that, oh, if I come from this submissive position, going along to get along, trying to make people happy, they'll eventually give me what I want, but I never said what I wanted and I never demanded what I wanted. And you have to go out here and assert yourself. And that's another reason why nice guys finish last is because they're too afraid to go out here and assert themselves. And they're too afraid to go out here and offend others because they're afraid of conflict and they're afraid of hurting feelings. But hurting feelings is a part of the real world. And if people are offended, then those people do not support you. And that's something that the nice guy does not understand is that you cannot go out here looking to try to, again, make people happy, look to please people, and then hope that they figure out things because that's not how you get success in life. No, success in life is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of perseverance. And those people who are out here and they get success, they're not afraid to fail. They're not afraid of conflict. They're not afraid of saying no. They're not afraid of failure. And they are willing to make the efforts out here to do the things that they believe will help them get towards what they want. And they understand that time is a precious intangible and they cannot waste any sort of time going out here looking to help other people get what they want because life is a precious thing. You only get a limited amount of time in your life, and they want to make sure that they accomplish what they accomplish in the limited time that they have in their lives before it becomes too late. And that's something your nice guy, that's why he's so bitter when he gets older. He's sitting there bitter because he's frustrated because he never got to do the things that he wanted, and he never got to accomplish the things he wanted to accomplish. And he's angry at the world because nice guys always wind up bitter when they get older because they didn't go out here and do the things that they wanted. And they've always got a story about some guy or some no good woman or whoever, but they never go and get what they want because they're too scared to go out here and go and do it. And they talk about how they're angry at the other guy, but the person they're really angry at is themselves because they didn't have the courage to go out here and do what they wanted to do. And they don't have, like Gabriel talks about, the dedication. And again, that's all part of what he's saying, the insecurities that these guys have. But the core of that insecurity is their fear. And it's that fear that prevents them from actualizing their potential. And again, this is why he finishes last, and he finishes very poorly because he's just, again, too insecure to trust others, too insecure to go out here and go for what he wants, too insecure to take risks. And he hesitates when he should be active, and he's too passive when he should be out here pushing. And again, he's just too afraid to go out here and do what needs to be done because he's afraid of how things are going to look. He's afraid of how other people are going to see him. But a person who wants to do something doesn't care how bad they look. They don't care about things because they know that the people, when you start out, you're never going to be perfect. It's going to be rough. And they know that that roughness is the thing that's going to connect them to other people. I mean, I remember when I started out doing books with hand-drawn covers, yes, they were rough, but you have to start somewhere. And the whole thing is, your nice guy, he's so afraid of failure and he's so afraid of things going bad that he never starts anything because he doesn't understand that you need a starting point in order to have a finishing point. And yes, your starting point is going to be a rough place. Yes, your starting place is going to have a learning curve. Yes, your starting point is going to have a lot of adversity, but it's these lessons you learn in these places that help you develop and grow. And it's these places that learn you how to master your skills and master your craft. Everybody has to fail. Everybody has to fall down. But the nice guy is too afraid to fail. He's too afraid to fall down. And he's too afraid to lose. And when he's too afraid to lose, he never gains anything. And it takes me back to a passage in the Bible I read about the men with the talents. I mean, one man had 5 talents, one man had 3 talents, and one man had 1 talent. And 2 of the men, because they had faith, they went out here and took their talents and gained more. But the man with the 1 talent, he was too afraid to go out, so he buried his talent into the ground. And when he buried his talent into the ground, he went back to the master and told him he did this out of fear. And he thought he was going to impress the master. But what happened was the master was not impressed by his cowardice. And he took the talent from him and gave it to the man who had accomplished the 10 talents and sent him off. And what Jesus was saying in that parable is similar to what I see about nice guys. They're just too, again, afraid of actualizing their potential and going out here and having the faith to take risks. So they bury their talent in the ground. And when they bury their talent in the ground, what happens is they never accomplish anything. And that's all because they're too afraid to go for exactly what they want. Now, the men who made the 10 talents and the 5 talents, those men weren't afraid to go for what they wanted. They had the faith to go out here, and because they had the faith, they were able to make things grow as related to going out here and occupying until the master came. So that's what happens when you have faith. But the nice guy does not have faith. He does not step out. And because he does not step out on faith, he always winds up losing, and he never finishes or accomplishes anything because he has no faith in God. He has no faith in himself. And because he's so filled with fear, he never goes out here and does what God wants him to do on this earth. He never has an abundant life, and he never gets any sort of success in life because he has no faith to go out here in anything. I mean, he just goes out here and he does things in a very, again, unassuming and passive way. He's too scared to go out here and lose. And because he's too scared to lose, he never gains anything at all. And again, that's another reason why your nice guy finishes last and finishes poorly, is he's just too afraid of going out here and doing anything. And what's really sad about your modern American man is we've got a lot of nice guys out here because we've had so many boys raised in these beta male households. And again, a lot of these guys are afraid to go out here and accomplish anything because they follow the nice guy paradigm, thinking that being passive is good, thinking about being hesitant, being afraid to go out here and try. But when they go out here and are like this, they never get the very best in life that God has for them. They never get the abundant life because they're too afraid to have the faith to go out here and do what they need to do. They're too scared to go out here and persevere in the face of adversity. They don't have the faith to see without believe without seeing. They only believe what they see, and because they believe what they see, they don't have the faith to have the vision to see something better. But that's what happens to your nice guy. Because he has no vision and he has no faith, he never goes out here and tries to make any sort of thing into reality because he's just so afraid of going out here and doing anything to offend people. But the only way to get somewhere is to understand that, yes, people are going to be offended. People are going to get upset. But when you believe in what you're doing, you're going to continue to persevere in the face of it. And you're going to persevere because there's something that you believe in, and you're going to want to go for it. And you're going to go and work with those who want to help you achieve whatever goals you want to achieve. And that's the difference between a regular guy and a nice guy. A regular guy finishes first because he puts himself first. He puts his goals first, and he has the confidence to go out here and achieve and work towards whatever he wants to achieve. And he's not afraid of being laughed at. He's not afraid of being mocked. He's not afraid of being disrespected because he knows at the end of the day, he's going to go and do what he needs to get done. And while there may be detractors in the beginning, he will get respect in the end. And he gets respect because he believes in himself and he believes in what he wants to do. And he believes that if he finishes whatever goal he has, he's going to go out here and be able to do what he needs to do. So he's not looking for anybody's approval. He's not looking for anybody's respect, but he earns respect because he goes out here and isn't afraid to be himself. And that's something your nice guy is too afraid to be. And that's why nobody wants to be around him, because he doesn't like himself. He doesn't value himself, and he doesn't see a worth in himself. And when you don't see a worth in you, you can't expect anybody to see success in you. And that's why your nice guy finishes last, and he winds up, again, never achieving anything of significant value. Now, I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream. I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream. And I would really appreciate it if you guys would head over to Amazon.com and pick up the new Stop Simping in Cyberspace and many of the other books on the SJS Direct imprint, like Cancel Vacation and Revenge of the Cyber Goddess and John Haynes Taking Care of Business. You can get all of those books on Amazon.com. in paperback and Kindle format. Um, by clicking the link in the chat. And you can also pick up many of those books on digital platforms like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, Kenneth and Gabriel. I did this one because I really want guys to understand that the nice guy paradigm is not a good paradigm to follow. You won't be able to find any sort of peace or happiness there. Nice guys aren't really nice, they're really needy, insecure, and it's not a way that you want to live, being afraid all the time. And fear is never a good thing. So when I look at the nice guy, yes, he looks friendly on the outside, but he's miserable on the inside. And it's not a life that you want to live. It's not an abundant life. It's not a life of peace. I mean, it's a life where you're settling for second best. And that's not a way you want to wind up living, is settling for second best and settling for leftovers and settling for garbage. That's another trait of the nice guy, is that he believes it's okay to settle for less. But a man, when he goes out here, he's looking for the best, and he's not going to take anything less than the best. And that's another trait that the nice guy, again, doesn't understand, is that you don't settle for substandard. No, if somebody or something doesn't meet your standard, don't hesitate to get that out of your life, because substandard should never be your standard, and you should never settle for anything less than whatever you actually want to accomplish. So I'm hoping that this gives everybody some better perspective on why nice guys finish last. And I'm hoping that you don't wind up finishing last like a nice guy. And I'm hoping that this stream will help you start working towards moving yourself forward. Now, in addition to asking everybody to head over to Amazon to pick up some of the books and help get the sales up on those books, I'm asking everybody to donate to the Cash App. I mean, we've had 36 in the stream. We've got 44 likes, which is great. So I'm asking everybody to donate to the Cash App so I can continue making videos and streams. And again, I appreciate everybody's support to the Cash App, the PayPal, the Patreon, and to the Super Chats. I really thank you all for your support of the channel. And I all thank you for coming again to tonight's stream. And I hope you'll be there for next week's stream. I'm hoping everybody has a good night or a good day on whatever part of the world you're on. And I hope you'll have a great weekend.